Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be reviewing Ether by Matt Kindt and Spanish artist David Rubín. And let me show you, first to get it out of the way, bragging rights. I actually had the pleasure of meeting David Rubín, and he very kindly, where it is dedicated, the comic to me and did a sketch for me there on the first page. So pretty cool. Now, you are wondering, what is Ether about? So Ether is a fantasy comic where there is this parallel universe to Earth, which is the Ether, and we follow Boone Diaz, depending on the pronunciation, who is this scientist slash private investigator that is the only human that can jump through the two parallel universes. Now the Ether is this magical world which is populated by these fantastical creatures, fairies, weird monsters, hybrid machine animals, whatever. And it's a magical world. But Boone, in his scientific mind, he sort of strips away all the magic from this world, and he's capable of explaining everything that happens there through logic, reason, and applying the scientific method and the rigors of his training. Now, the major argument here is that someone is sort of a bit weird. So they've opened these two portals. They're opening portals between the two worlds. So that's creating a lot of chaos because these creatures are sort of traveling to Earth and stuff like that. So it's a Boone Diaz alongside an assortment of weird creatures is trying to close them up and stop this sort of weird invasion. No, it's not an invasion, but this sort of weird crossover of the two worlds. Whereas at the same time, there is someone trying to take over the Ether world and sever the link between the two universes. And that is an inconvenience, not an inconvenience, but that's got dire consequences for both worlds, because the Ether is sort of the magic, inspirational, dreamy, creative side of Earth that we sort of need, and Earth is the rational logic bit of the Ether type thing. And if you fully separate those two universes, it'll be catastrophic for both. And anyway, we follow along. That's a sort of slight plot overview. Now, on top of that, the book is trying to say something about people that follow their passion slash job, where your ultimate goal becomes all-consuming, and it sort of takes you away from everything else in your life, and the consequences of dedicating yourself fully and only to one aspect of your life. So there's that sort of thematic, deeper sort of feel about it. And it is a nice, quick read. The plot doesn't move necessarily in a straightforward, linear fashion. There's sort of these weird flashbacks back and forth. There are sort of jumps on the timeline. It feels a little bit chaotic, but maybe that's all in keeping with the sort of Ether magical world type thing. But overall, it is an enjoyable read. It's a really nice book to read between chunkers, like I sometimes do. Now, obviously, it's a graphic novel. Need to talk about the art and the artwork. And the artwork it's for super high standard. David Rubín does a great job here. He does the art, he does the coloring, he does everything. And what is particularly interesting is how when we are in the Ether, the colors are like, an LSD trip. It's just all very sort of bright reds and pastels and stuff like that. And then when we move to Earth, sort of the color palette sort of darkens, and you instinctively know whether you are in the Ether or in Earth just by the color on the page. And I think that's a very sort of nifty trick that the artists have pulled there. Also, the you could get lost in the details of every page with all the different creatures and the sort of quirky animals that populate the world. And there is this sort of semi-mechanical animal hybrid thing. So like, you know, you shoot a bullet in the ether, but the bullets are these tiny creatures, and it's all very whimsical. It's all very sort of magical. It's all very sort of out there. I wonder if people wouldn't know this, but there was a Sunday strip in Spain called Gumo, where there's this Earthling that goes to this other planet which is populated by these weird aliens, and I found hints of that. And maybe David Rubín, sort of, I'm sure he must have read that in his youth, and whether there's a slight influence of the Gumo Sunday strip in there, but I didn't have an opportunity to ask him when I met him. But anyway, there's that. It is also worth talking about this edition. This is like the full omnibus thing by Dark Horse, which is the publishing house there, because at the back of the book you've got a lot of character sketches and initial concept ideas for settings for different creatures, and you get notes from both Matt Kindt and David Rubín, and you also get a feel for how the collaboration between them sort of happened, because originally it was going to be Matt who was going to write and draw the whole thing, and then when David became available for the project, it was like all yours. And Matt Kindt talks about not wanting to show David his original sketches because he wanted David to have full sort of creative input in there. So I quite like these omnibus editions for all the little extras that you get on the gallery of alternative covers and all that sort of stuff. So really a very enjoyable read that gets better as you go along. As at first is that little bit weird. It's a fantasy world that doesn't take itself too seriously, but does have some serious things to say. But anyway, this is all I have for today. Thank you as usual ever so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Take loads and loads of care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.